Hey folks, it's Keith, Victor Echo 3 Sierra Victor Quebec, otherwise known as the Shaky Key. And I used to say that's because of my former Morse code abilities when I first started some 30 odd years ago. Now, I want to focus today on a very simple topic, one that has popped up a few times over the last, I'm going to say 3 or 4 weeks. It's popped up when I do first contacts, which is something I like to do with people, make their very first CW contact on air. So it always comes up there. And it comes up fairly often when people are doing their very first Straight Key Century Club or SKCC contact, and I do quite a few in there as well. And it's the same topic every time. How fast are you? What speed are you? And somehow speed has become a symbol or a badge of honor for Morse code operators, especially new operators. The focus is on speed. How fast can you be? Not character speed. We're talking effective speed, words per minute, largely associated in many cases with Farnsworth or the Farnsworth method. I have had students in the past who were just so focused on, oh, I'm only 10 words per minute. I got to get to 12, got to get to 16. It's a very common problem with new operators, right? And even some of the ones who've been on for a year, maybe a year, maybe two. The focus is speed. That's your badge of honor. What really should it be, though? Let's try accuracy. Not much point being fast if the person on the other end doesn't understand what you sent. Now, when I look at this, every club out there has a program that they follow when they're teaching you Morse code. Many have different character speeds that they recommend. That's fine, works with their curriculum. They can get you on the air. Your word speed will be probably what they teach you at the beginning. After that, it's up to you as you progress. You might start at, who knows, 10 words per minute. Once you're on the air, you'll find it's going to increase. But copying is just as important. If you can't copy what the other person is sending, doesn't matter how fast you can send. If you can send super fast and they can't copy you, doesn't matter how fast you think you can send. So those are the things you have to look at as you go forward, especially when you're just getting on the air. Never be ashamed of the speed that you can do. Be proud of the speed you can do, because how many people in this country, or other countries for that matter, can do any type of Morse code? Never mind do it at, who knows, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 words per minute, whatever it happens to be. So let's look at a little bit at this, and I'll tell you where I'm coming from on it. I've seen people, students who using a straight key. Now keep in mind, straight key, you're probably going to do most of your conversations between, roughly 10 and 14, maybe 10 and 15 words per minute. For me, that's what I like. Other people I know want to use paddles and everything else. I have no problems with any of that. Just remember to send accurately. But I've watched people go through and, they're so focused on speed. They're not focused on their sending ability. They're not focused on spacing, the shape of the characters, and so on. They're not looking at the spacing between words. So what comes out very often, and I'm not talking a first-time operator here who, they go on the air and the adrenaline's going and they just send like hell and get, everything's jumbled up. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about operators who've now been on the air, who knows, a year, maybe more. And they jump around. One moment they're using a straight key, which is great. Then suddenly they're on a paddle, trying to do 5 or 6 words per minute faster. They may, if they're not using a paddle, they may jump up to a bug or a cootie, the mechanical versions. Why? Because they have to send fast. But when you listen to them, you have a clue as to what they're sending. They're all wrapped up in speed. They're not wrapped up in accuracy. You can't have speed without accuracy. It's not worth anything. So what I want to say to you is take your time, slow down, learn at whatever level you're at. Try to become proficient, certainly in receiving, in copying, and in sending at whatever speed you're at. So if you happen to be at 10 words per minute on a straight key, don't think you have to suddenly start sending faster. No, become very proficient at sending at 10 words per minute. Over time, yes, you will get faster. You'll be able to go to maybe 12, 14. You'll be able to copy faster as well. Because remember, one of those unwritten rules in amateur radio is whatever you send at, the other operator may very well come back at. So if your copy skills aren't up there, and let's say your copy skills are, for the sake of argument, at 10 words per minute, and you're sending at 14 or 16 words per minute, there's a good chance the other operator will come back at 16 words per minute. So you become your own worst enemy when you do this, and it can become very frustrating for you. Most of the organizations or clubs that teach Morse code will have programs, structures that will bring up your speed, but you keep your accuracy in place as well. So if you are trying to improve your speed, look at what the local association or the current club that you belong to, look at what they do, follow them, help them to train you to be a good operator, a fast but accurate operator. There are some marvelous operators out there, 30, 40, and more words per minute. And it's fun to sit back and listen to that Morse code just flow by them. That's what you want to become down the road. If picking up your speed, getting up into the 20s, who knows, maybe into the 30s, is something that you want to do, then go for it. There's no reason not to. As long as you remember, you have to be accurate. And like I say, there are some wonderful operators out there to listen to. Sometimes you hear them in POTA, but more often you're going to hear them in some of the other websites or club sites, around the bands. But it is fun to listen to those really good operators as well. In the past, when certainly in North America, and I imagine other parts of the world too, we had to reach certain levels of speed, proficiency, accuracy, to get various license requirements out of the way. Now that's largely disappeared. So certainly there was a reason to pick up your speed. If you were doing, say, 10 words per minute, passed that exam, that was a big thing. Then you knew you had to go to whatever, 14, 20 words, 25 words per minute, to get your next license requirement out of the way. So certainly those were major achievements. And you could see why someone would be proud of it. Today, I think POTA is part of the issue, because when you look at POTA and you look at the speeds that people are doing, that the activators are doing, there's an awful lot of people up in the 20s, 21, 22, 25, especially during the week when you have a lot of retired folks on during the day. And some of these guys are veteran operators with many, many years of experience. So I think that's another issue for a new operator. I'm talking new operator here who's looking around to see what's going on. So, when someone says to you, let's do a contact, or if you say to someone, can I do a first contact? And they say to you, sure, what speed can I do to help you out? Don't be embarrassed. Tell them, I'm at 8 words per minute, 9 words, 10 words per minute. They want to know, not because they want to belittle you, but because they want to help you make that contact. So don't worry about it. Tell them how fast you can do, how fast you can send and receive accurately, They'll help you out. As you go forward, yes, all of that will pick up. All of that speed will pick up. And if you're going on to POTA, and I sometimes wonder if the speeds we see on POTA doesn't keep a lot of other operators off. In other words, if they're not doing 15, 18, 20 words per minute, how many Morse code operators who love parks aren't out there? I look for those when I'm in, hunting on POTA. First people I look for are the ones who are doing somewhere under 15 words per minute. If I can find them, I'll do everything I can to make a contact with them, to let them know that, hey, I don't care what your speed is. If you have QRS beside your call sign when you're activating a park, I'm more than happy to try and talk to you. When I activate a park, I use a straight key. I don't use a paddle, bug, cootie. I just use a straight key. So, if you see me on, I'm probably there somewhere between 12 and 14 words per minute. Quite happy to do that. I'm using a straight key. I will see some operators, myself included, who will put down, QRS straight key. Hey, I think that's wonderful that they're out there. They're keeping the hobby alive. They're having fun. That's what it's all about. So I go back to what I say in many other videos. It's a hobby. Enjoy it. Have fun. When someone says to you, what's your speed? Tell them. Tell them with a smile. If you like this video, please like, share, comment down below, subscribe. It's all good. It's Keith, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor Quebec, the Shaky Key, wishing you a great day. 73.